happens when Great Britain's oldest maltster collaborate with one of Great Britain's oldest breweries? The result? A heritage ale named Ancestry, a product of 518 years of shared tradition and expertise. But how is it made? And what went into it? And when can you get it? I'm James Marinos from French Jupps maltings, and I'm taking a journey away from our historic family-run maltings here in Stansted-Abbas to meet with Alex Arkell, 6th generation brewer at Arkell's Brewery, to find out more for the brew day.
My name's Alex Arkell. I'm the head brewer at Arkell's Brewery, and we are in the basement of Arkell's Brewery, our old Victorian brew house. Arkell's was founded by my ancestors, so I'm the 6th generation of Arkell to brew on this exact same site here. We've been here since 1843, when my great grandfather, he was a farmer here by trade, really, principally in this part of North Swindon, which was a very small little town at the time, and diversified into farming and into brewing a little bit in 1840. Had a little microbrewery in his farmhouse, which is out the back here. And then in 1861, after the first 20 years of expansion, he built this lovely old Victorian brewery where we still make all our beer every day for Arkell's Brewery today. Today has been a treat. Today we've brewed a collaboration with French Jupps. This is quite an unusual thing for Arkell's. We tend to brew our own beers, and we haven't collaborated a lot with other companies or other breweries at all ever in our history. But French Jupps, being the oldest maltster in the country, we thought this is a beautiful collaboration opportunity between us being one of the oldest breweries now in the country at 183 years old, and French Jupps with all their wonderful illustrious history. So we've got together and we brewed a beer which we've called Ancestry, which brings together your wonderful knowledge of malt and hopefully our traditional values and I think our knowledge of brewing, but you could be the judge of that. I think what we were hoping to do was really exaggerate the impact of the malt, the roasted malts particularly. We've got a blend of crystal malts and roasted malts in this, so we've got a lot of colour that'll come through. Well, we've called it a heritage beer because it would have been a style that you would have come across historically more often than not. Hundreds of years, 200 years ago, 150 years ago, when we begun and French Jupps begun, beer was often darker as well. The malting process was quite different and the brewing processes were a bit different. I would say we're looking between a stout and a mild, really. So we're going to have that lovely dark colour, but not black. It'll be have a sort of ruby darkness to it, and we've got all sorts of. We've got 4 different malts in there that will layer up the flavour as well, which will be very nice, hopefully. I think me and Bob Mercer, who's our Foreman brewer here, we visited French Jupps last week, a couple of weeks ago, and sat down and got out with you, a whole load of different malts, and a few of them really stood out, particularly ones we had never used before, like the light chocolate. Historically, I mean, we've always had a stout here as one of our regular brews, which again has 4 or 5 different darker malts in it to layer up that flavour. But the light, we'd never come across it, and that was really appealing to us to try and produce a beer that was light enough in body to be a session beer, but with the depth of flavour and the interest to also be characterful and exciting. And the light chocolate was a particularly one that stood out for us. The amber as well was delicious. I mean, they were all fantastic malts. To accentuate the impact of the malts, we really wanted to hold back the hops and go with what we use a lot, which is Fuggles, which is a classic English variety brewed in Worcester, and it will hopefully just provide a little bit of balance to the final beer, but without noticeably impacting the beer too much with bitterness or floral aromas, which we weren't really looking for. You know, so you'll have your biscuity, coffee, toffee flavours with just a smudge and a bitterness just to balance it out. This is one of my favourite designs we've done for a very long time. It's got a beautiful blend of what we put on the front is the belts and wheels, which is fundamental to the way we make our beer here. The whole brewery, Victorian brewery built by John, is driven and powered by belts and wheels. So it was built in '61 when he transferred into this larger brewery, using all of Brunel's sort of Brunelian engineering. So it was built at the same time as Isambard Brunel was building big maintenance works up the road for the steam engines. He was building SS Great Britain. This is the era when our brewery was built, and it was built with much the same design. So we've got, behind me here, I've got belts and wheels that go up through the brewery, beginning on the basement with a locomotive engine. We'd have had a coal fire originally, throwing steam into an engine. That engine then runs belts and wheels that connect all the way up through our brewery, and that runs our mashing, that runs lifts that move the grain up and down, mash mixing, all this sort of thing. So the belts and wheels is our powerhouse, and we still use that all exactly as it was built 150 years ago, and it works beautifully. So then we really wanted to show that and demonstrate that on the badge, alongside the beautiful French Jupps artwork as well. It looks fantastic. So the beer is called Ancestry. It's a 3.8% session heritage ale between a mild and a stout. It's brewed in collaboration with French Jupps and will be available all of October and November in and around Arkell's pubs within 50 miles of our brewery here. Enjoy.